Welcome to another episode of Society of Main Characters. Today we are going to go over the book Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy with my long dearest friend Keegan,
What up?
newest friend David,
And that's it.
Hello. Can I at least be dearest new friend?
and some acquaintance we know named Nick.
Ooh.
Wow.
It's because he makes noises like that.
Wow.
Sorry, I still haven't got the friendship folder
And,
yet. I don't know all the information, so I don't know.
Some dude that we found in an alley.
We call him the life experiencer. I met him out back of the KFC alleyway.
I met him out back of an outback. He thought we were
I met
really in
him out back
Australia.
of the
and
outback.
I knew then.
He came from a land down under. Okay.
That's why his tattoo's there.
He flew directly to Australia to go visit an outback in Australia.
He's like, I want to go to the first one ever. So he flew to Australia. Little did he know, it's in Florida.
Little did they know, it's not in Australia.
Well, that's a conversation for another time. But Brendan,
That's right. Stay tuned for our all outback special.
yeah, well, we traveled to all the fanciest outbacks, the first outbacks. Let us
I'm
know.
not gonna lie.
what
I've been to the first outback. Okay, it
have you?
was great. It was great.
I want to say there's another outback in Missouri that is like the Outback Steakhouse, and it was technically made the same year, but because they forgot to file or didn't file fast enough, like the Outback.
So it's an
window-
outback, but it's not an official like outback. It just happens
Yeah.
to be a steakhouse called the Outback.
Yeah, but no, and it has all the same food, like the
Well,
blooming onion
because
and all
the
that.
one we all know is Outback Steakhouse. I guess the other one's the Outback.
Mhm.
That's
Well,
funny.
That's like apparently there's in Montana there's a Mike's In and Out, which is like the same thing as In and Out, but
But this one's Mike's.
yeah.
I've heard it's owned by Michael Jordan.
I don't know that.
That's what I heard.
You get free Nikes with every order.
Yeah. So you've been there.
Yeah,
Because
so I
we
get all my.
good ones,
I
right?
just drive up to Montana to get my Air Jordans.
I mean, if they're free, it's kind of tempting, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean
Even
that's a
though
long drive,
technically-
but for free, I'll
Yeah,
do it.
that's like maybe. If I got another reason to be around there, why not?
So, Brendan, on the discussion of Hitchhiker's Guide, we like to just start it off here by saying, why did you pick it? Like, what was your reasoning behind bringing this book to the group to read here?
I recently got the book of all of the novels of his. So there's
Oh, the omnibus with all the
5 stories in a novelle, and I just thought it's a good little story that I wanted to revisit, and kind of a different genre of what I usually read, because I'm usually more a fantasy person, so kind of fun to throw it in. Also with Project Hail Mary coming out later this month. I know you guys read that book last year, and I just thought it'd be a good space book to do, comedic space book to do it in this month.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's definitely a fun one. I would say I'm trying to think of the way to describe it to people that haven't read it, as far as the tone. David, a little bit of Monty Python Spaceballs.
Oh, I
Right.
would say that I talked about this actually while he was reading it, and I was like, yeah. My biggest takeaway from the book ever since, I first read it way back in middle school, so I've been a fan of Douglas Adams and these books for a long time, and something that we agreed on, it very much is, it's very British, very very British. Like, this is hands down just like Monty Python, and you can tell it is very much a British product, and it doesn't hurt it or anything. You just have to keep that in mind if you're coming from an American audience or somewhere else, that there's going to be a couple of things like you don't get. Like the one that I pointed out to Nick, one of the main characters, Ford Prefect. That's literally an exact type of car in Britain that never came anywhere else. It was only a British car, but he named himself that because he thought cars were the dominant species on the planet because there were so many of them. He literally thought that cars were like, oh, that's okay, that's what controls this planet. So he named himself Ford Prefect. It'd be the same as us being like, my name is Chevy Tahoe.
Well, I will say too, it has a little bit of the tone of like the older Doctor Who for me, at least.
It's almost dry,
Mm-hmm.
which again I think goes back to the British humor. It's
Very British
dry,
type of thing,
yeah, and it's like giving you scientific fact, but it's all bullshit.
yeah,
But like the best way.
yeah. No, it very much. I love those type of comedies at the same time, so I'm all for it. And I think comparing it to, like Brennan said, Project Hail Mary and some of these other sci-fi ones we have done, it felt so different. It doesn't even feel like it really should be in that category. I mean, it is.
I
'cause
will
it's
say
space.
I've noticed that the United States in general, like American writers and things, we don't really have a major, I would say, space like sci-fi comedy. I guess the Orville and stuff has tried to do things, but I don't feel like we really have like over there. You've got this, you've got stuff like Red Dwarf was a really big popular like British comedy space kind of thing. Here we seem to take sci-fi a little more seriously.
Why do you think that is? Is it just because
Aspirational, maybe we see it as a realistic, like this could be the future or whatever. Like I think sci-fi to a lot of Americans is kind of like looking to the future of what we are possibly capable of doing someday, and don't want to just have fun with it. They actually think of it as like, yeah, what's going to happen? Or it's just grounds for a really good epic sweeping, because it used to be an epic story, span the globe, because back then people never saw into the rest of the world. Travel wasn't as easy, so it was a big deal to go to another continent. Now you can go around the world in a couple of days with the right plane. So I guess maybe to get that same scope of something huge and massive, you got to go out into the stars and explore other worlds, universes, etc., like Star Wars.
yeah, yeah, which Star Wars is kind of like this. It's also more like the serials of the 60s, I think, is where kind of Lucas.
Absolutely. Yeah, he definitely got his like from those kind of pulpy, easy comics and reads and things. Plus, I think we've even discussed this before. I fully feel that Star Wars is more of a fantasy than a sci-fi any day. It's more of a space fantasy than a sci-fi, in my opinion, because it's basically wizards in space.
Well, that and samurai, because a lot of the
a lot of the original story definitely.
Is
Yeah.
Kurosawa
What if these guys were in space and had some powers, but they're samurai? Yeah.
So, Brendan, comparing it to Star Wars, what are your thoughts there?
Well, I've never thought of Star Wars as samurais before, so that's a whole new.
Yeah, that was his. Well, at least for the first one, that's where he drew some of his story inspiration, and that's why lightsabers were such a big deal.
That it makes sense, but I just never thought of it that way.
Yeah, watch Hidden Fortress, and you'll see R2D2 and C3PO. You'll see it. Well, I think this has been a great discussion of.
Great. So, what's our next book?
Well, Nick, was this your first read of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
It was my first read of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. As David mentioned earlier, when I first started reading it, I just couldn't get it for some reason. And then he was like, "Oh, it's very British." And I was like, that like clicked for me. I was like, "Oh, this makes so much more sense."
You got to kind of see it through that filter, and then you're like, "Oh."
The sperm whale just appearing out of nowhere. Well, not out of nowhere, but just being there, you're like, it makes sense.
Yep. And then the sperm whale's thoughts as it's falling down.
That's one of the funniest chapters ever. It's literally just a running of everything the whale thought, and then.
Yep, and then the pot of petunias being like, "Oh no, not again."
So I don't want to give it away, Nick, but that actually is explained in later books of why the petunias thought that, and it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Oh yeah, I mean, I imagine it is. I will say the one thing I thought was really cool, and going on to the more serious side of sci-fi, would be the improbability drive.
Mm-hmm.
If that became actual technology, I think that'd be really cool. It would be, especially if it operated the way it does in the book, where just random things happen when you press the button.
I like that a lot, and we can talk more in depth about this a little later. But I do also think the way they did that in the movie, I thought was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like the representation of it, they did a good job in the most recent movie with showing the improbability drive. I think.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right, well, this has been great, and
I told you I was going to crash and burn.
no, there's no crash and burn here. Personally, only keeping it on one book, I think one of the most interesting things was the concept of Magathea, how they literally built like luxury custom made planets.
Mm.
Like absolutely insane. But I mean, if you think about it, like I could almost see it getting there someday if the technology was available. Like as much as people buy custom of their own, like people have fucking custom islands and things for them now. Like I could see it getting to the point where they're like, well, I just want to make my own planet.
I did enjoy the one guy where he was like, "Oh, but I have all these great glacier designs," and like throw it.
Where he
away.
won the award for it and everything. Look at the forts; they look so good.
Have you heard of a place called Norway? That was me.
Throw them somewhere.
You're
they
welcome.
belong.
Yeah.
And I guess all right, so I guess the thing that came out of this that is most well known probably from everybody is of course the answer to life, the universe, and everything being 42.
42.
Right. I did very much like the anticipation, the build up, and everything to that, and then the computer just being like, "Well, I think the problem is that you didn't know the question," and like that makes so much sense because there's so many people that are like, you know, what's the key? What is the answer to everything? You know, that's like, well, what are you actually asking?
Well,
I mean,
yeah,
I knew
like,
about the answer to life being 42 before I even read the book. So I
Is that
obviously
yeah, like that's probably one of the biggest pop culture things out there from this is definitely the don't panic 42 and then maybe a towel, you know?
yeah, I was gonna say they even put it right here on the cover.
Yeah, because it follows them through the entire series, like 42 being the answer to everything. What did you guys think of the reveal basically that Earth was created just as a giant computer?
I thought it was actually a really cool thought experiment. Like it would be like Earth is another computer being testing what the actual question to the answer is.
Yeah, and I feel like maybe David, you would understand this. Just being in the world that we're in, I feel like this is where some of it does come from. I mean, obviously, sci-fi is big in the world that we are in, as far as the paranormal and stuff.
It's almost considered an offshoot of it, I would say.
Whoa!
So who has the demon right now? Is that
That was either a demon or someone violently shit their pants.
that was Brendan realizing he is with the wrong woman. She is mad.
No, but
Yeah, paranormal.
I love reading old sci-fi novels, and this one's not super old; it's from the 70s. But just
That's
seeing,
I mean,
old.
it's
That's
way
so
before
old.
any of us were alive.
Yeah, that's so
To be
old,
fair.
dude. Like, oh, people who were alive in the 70s are fucking ancient now.
You know, they're like in their 50s, yeah.
My parents are were alive in the 70s, and I like to bug them about that.
well, and on that note, though, it's just very interesting because then obviously now we have like the Matrix and like the whole simulation theory and stuff like that, and you wonder how many of those people were influenced by Hitchhiker's Guide. Like maybe they
Absolutely.
aren't. Yeah, like maybe they didn't set out to say it was from Hitchhikers, but just
But you can tell there
subliminally
was some
from
of that
having read it.
flavor on there. Like I would almost say a lot of the great comedy that has come out, I'm sure at least a little bit has been influenced by Monty Python.
Mhm.
Like little bits and things like that of people that do that same kind of genre of comedy. It's just one of those things I think is kind of required studying almost that you've seen it, you know, knowing what's come before. I would say Hitchhikers is a really good example, probably, of if you're going to be a great sci-fi writer, I suggest that you've at least read it once or
Yeah.
twice, you know?
Well, and it just helps you expand your knowledge of what sci-fi can be because I think, like you were saying, here in America, sci-fi kind of gets typecast in a way into
It does.
one
It's very
type
much
of
kind of the
genre.
same thing. I
Mhm.
feel like I mean some sci-fi is great. I don't want to knock sci-fi because some of the best movies I've seen have definitely been sci-fi, you know. But I do feel like there's a lot of slop with sci-fi too, where it's a lot of the same things, just interchanging a couple characters, couple plot points, and it's the same exact thing. They're very formulaic to a certain extent these days, and a lot of sci-fi's you can almost replace the name and it's the same movie. You know,
Mhm.
it's just one of those things that I do think a lot of those elements just kind of tag along, and there's only so much I think you can do with sci-fi until we've expanded further what we're capable of. Because there's certain I think parameters and restrictions to it that you can't really get around yet in a feasible way to expand what you're doing. Because I mean, there's got to be a ship. You have limited resources. If you get to a planet, you know it's can you breathe there? Can you not? Can you live there? Can you? Do you have to terraform? Like, but there's still only so many options available to you. Whereas something like fantasy, it literally can be anything you want it to be.
Mhm. Well, and so going to the beginning of the book with just a situation on Earth before it gets blown up, how does that change perspective? Like, just they were so focused, obviously, on their house and stuff, and it's so big, and he could have gone to file the permits, whatever, but then he finds out, hey, Earth's being destroyed, and it's like almost the same thing as far as like the space people are coming in, and they got to set up the tunnel, and hey, you could have set it up or gone through the files and all that.
Yeah, that were located at Alpha Centauri.
Yeah.
And then we're like, well, we can't get that far. Well, if you can't be bothered with local politics, that's not our problem.
Yeah.
And I do like how Arthur is just always like, it must have been Tuesday. He could never get the hang of Tuesdays. And like, it's so funny that he's just like so self-defeating of everything. He's just like, this is just my lot in life. He's almost like Marvin.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I don't know. Something about the beginning I like because it's an interesting way, I think, to.
It's a good parallel. It's taking like a realistic situation and then with like this bigger thing, but it's still like in terms of kind of what you're going through here on Earth.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's relatable.
Personally, I think what kind of hooked me on this, because the first chapter, of course, is just talking about like how big space is or whatever. But when it starts like into the story with the first real chapter, I think what hooked me into this humor was when he's complaining that nobody told him it was going to be like torn down his house, and they were telling him like, "Hey, you could have gone down to the city office where they were down in the basement with no staircase, filed away in a hidden cabinet with a sign that said "Beware of leopard." Like it was just like what? It was just very like right from there. I was like, all right, this is going to be just absurd. Like this whole thing, you had to buy into a lot of nonsense, I think. And then I mean, the
You had to
aliens that
suspend.
destroy. Yeah, you have to definitely suspend your belief. And then
Yeah,
the aliens that destroy everything. I mean, their biggest weapon is fucking poetry.
Yeah.
Yep.
What I like, Arthur was like, maybe if we just go along and say we like it. And Ford's like, I never thought about that before.
But it's funny because like Arthur, like I don't even think he's doing it to get out of it. He's just like, all right, it's not bad. I mean, I guess we could, you know.
Yeah.
And like Ford, who almost just died, is like, yes, maybe we can do that. Like he thinks like Arthur's like some clever plot when Arthur's really just like, I mean, that wasn't the worst.
I've seen worse on Earth, you know?
And
I
there's
forgot who it was, but I remember they mentioned that the worst like blew up with Earth. It was somebody here that like
Yep.
wrote it. I don't remember who it was, but I wonder if that was like a pot shot back in the day at that person.
At somebody. Yeah, someone was reading Hitchhikers back in the day and they're like, oh my goodness, Douglas Adams just shouted me out and said bad things.
It'd be even funnier if it was like one of his friends.
Yeah, he just
And
wrote
he
it
just
in.
like, I'll put you in the book. Don't worry.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of like sometimes like authors nowadays they'll do like little fan raffles to see if your name can get in the book. And that's
Yeah.
just you're reading and you're like the worst poet ever and it's your name. You're like, I mean, I guess I'm there, but I don't know how I feel now about that.
Oh, dude, if that would have been me, I'd be thrilled. I'd start charging to go tell like speak poetry at people's parties and stuff.
Just terribly.
Just be like universally known worst poet.
Of all time. Um so Nick, having now I guess gone into a couple different sci-fi and alien type of books, how do the extraterrestrials in this book compare? Like, do you like them better than some of the ones we've already met, or do you like them less? Like,
Um, so I mean, I wouldn't. I would say I'd. I mean, it's not a matter of like and dislike for me, but like for when it comes to my taste, I think the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, especially with the movie, these aliens felt more like monsters from like your childhood versus like actual aliens, like we talked about with Project Hail Mary with Rocky, or stuff like that. Like those feel like actual real aliens versus these feel like just kind of monsters from like a childhood story.
okay,
I will say, I think something, again, not a massive sci-fi person, so I don't have like a huge breadth to come with on this, but I think one of my absolute favorite things that was introduced in this book and throughout this whole series is the Babel fish.
Oh yeah.
I absolutely love that as like explaining how everybody can understand each other, because
Mhm.
otherwise, yeah, it makes no damn sense to say that everybody speaks English. Like that's stupid. But
Mm-hmm.
giving it an actual reasoning for why the aliens aren't speaking another language. It's kind of like how in Doctor Who, how they've said that they can all understand it because the TARDIS has like an automatic translation that goes to their head, so that it sounds like everybody's speaking English, even if they're speaking whatever. Like I like that they at least mention something, even if it's a silly thing, and it doesn't just expect everybody to be like, "Oh yeah, English is the universal language." That makes no sense. Like in a sci-fi, no way. But having something there that it's like, oh yeah, this little thing, it translates for you and it feeds off brainwaves, so you never have to feed it. They're like, oh, all right. Like I don't know, I thought that was cool, and that's actually how the Babelfish website became like a thing, is off of this. It's like an actual translation service. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was really cool too.
yeah, no, I enjoyed because you see kind of the before and after, and just the description of it like wiggling its way in, like what's going on. Did you? I'm trying to think who to direct this to. Brendan, what were your thoughts when Trillian is introduced and her actual backstory?
Um, I don't really know.
Because it is set up earlier in the book in a way, not name wise, but he does briefly mention it, and I think I like that about books is when little details come back. David, did you enjoy the full circle kind of moment there? Not that it's really full
Yeah,
circle.
no. I think it's funny. Wasn't a huge fan of how they kind of changed it up in the movie, at least the most recent one, but it's whatever. At least they mentioned it. I think it's hilarious when Ford finds out. He's like, "Bitch, you were on that planet and didn't save me. Like I've been stuck there for how long now? And you were just like hanging out, partying, picking up an Earth girl, and like couldn't swing by and pick me up." And he's like, yeah, let's have a drink. I got you now. That's what matters.
Yeah, we're good. We're gonna go on this wild adventure with my stolen vehicle. That's the
I do
only
love
reason
that too, how
became-
the entire thing, like he became president just to be able to steal this ship.
Yeah. Why did you become president? Well, I wanted to go for a joyride. So, and that's how
to
we
be
got
fair,
Roswell.
it is a cool ass ship.
Yes,
So I get it. I get it.
I get it. Nick, did you like that Hitchhiker's Guide was actually part of the story as well? Like, it's not just the name, but it's actually a physical book that Ford's going around, like, kind of surveying, writing, and Earth has such a small little tidbit in it.
Yeah, I did. I thought that was I mean, I figured it was going to be part of the story and not just like the story of the creation of the Hitchhiker's Guide. I figured it was actually going to be part of the story. I did think it was funny. It's like 6,632 pages long. And I was like, that's too long of a book. No one, I would never read that.
Well, that's because it's not meant to be read like cover to cover. It is
No, yeah, it's
absolutely
meant
a
to be.
reference. It's like the dictionary. There when you need it.
Dictionary, encyclopedia kind of thing. Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know if you read. I think this is actually in the omnibus version, so I'm sure you guys have seen this. Did y'all hear the story of like how he decided that was going to be the name? He basically, the idea for this whole book came from, he was out kind of backpacking around, like doing Europe and stuff like that, as a lot of people in Britain, that's what they do there. So he was young, he was out backpacking, he got super, super drunk one night. and he just kind of wandered. Like he didn't have a place to stay that night. He didn't have a hostel or anything. He couldn't make it there, so he just ended up like in a field in like Amsterdam. Like it was some random like European place, and he just like fell back and was like looking up at the stars. And throughout his trip, he'd been using like a guy like Hitchhiker's Guide to Norway, or something like that. And he was like looking up. He's just like, there should be a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Like seeing all the stars, being like super drunk, and the name stuck with him, and that's where he like kind of built everything off of.
Having heard that story, I love it even more now.
And I could totally see it, like the sense of humor. Like I get it. Like, and I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. But I love that there was like entries interspersed in between the stories, kind of a nice breakup. I think it's hilarious that Earth's entry after Ford's been there for like 20 years is just when he got there, it was harmless. And after he'd been there so long, it was being updated to mostly harmless. That was the only entry for the entire planet.
Yeah, that's it. Well, I kind of updated it.
I mean, it's interesting kind of what you mentioned before about the simulation thing. Again, this was written back like in the 60s, 70s, whatever. Very cool that basically Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, that's like an e-reader. That's literally what we have now. Like it was basically an iPad.
Yeah, it's the tablet that's reading you the book right now.
He very, very much basically predicted a real technology that we all have now in our, like, it was a phone, it was something that connects and has all the information you could want about something. Like it is not that far off from what he predicted 50 plus years ago. I think that's pretty cool.
Well, and that's something that happens with like Star Trek too. A lot of people are like, and I've heard people say, yeah, we watch Star Trek and then we try to like engineer that.
I think so. I think anytime we see something in a movie that we're like, oh, that's cool, somebody's like, I wonder how we could make that real.
How can I make that happen?
Absolutely. So
I know.
Yeah, I think it's just aspirational. It's dreams, seeing them and being like, how do I make it reality?
Well,
yeah,
David,
I know for me, I've gone down the YouTube rabbit hole of people trying to make Spider-Man gadgets real, like real web slingers and all that stuff.
I've seen those, yeah.
David, real quick, can you fact check who was the genius behind the most important thing that you need on your travels? The towel.
You want to know who invented a towel?
I don't know. We could if we want.
We're wondering if the type of towel matters. If you can.
Well, so I think it depends on what kind of journey you're going on. I think, like personally, I think a full-size bath towel is probably best to go with. But you'll remember in the books at times there's special books that with like are different patterns and things, and he had like different nutrients in the different colors of the towel. Depending on where he would go, he could like get a little extra protein or extra like B12 and the modern day bath towel is credited to the city of Bursa in Turkey in the 17th century during the Ottoman Empire. They were designed for the Turkish baths to be lightweight, absorbent, and eventually looped to enhance drying. But before that, there was thinner linen versions that were in Egypt, Rome, and Mesopotamia. So kind of as long as people have been getting wet, they've had things to not be as wet. Like Nick.
I knew it. I knew that joke was coming.
I mean, Nick, as an experiencer of life, can you confirm that towels do help you get unwet?
Yes, I can confirm that.
Oh, I will add only if they are not already wet themselves, because if this is wet, and it's not going to help you.
That is also true.
Interesting. Let me write that down in my little experiencer book. Hold on.
Write it on your towel. But yeah, another thing that I thought was pretty funny was the fact that like humans are only the third most intelligent species on Earth.
Yeah, like mice are above.
Mice and dolphins.
Yeah, and dolphins. And I like how dolphins were like, peace, we're out. We're just going.
Like, I like though that like the dolphins tried to warn us.
Yeah.
And we were just like, look at that trick. He's so smart, And then they left and their last message was so long and thanks for all the fish.
Yeah. All those dolphins at SeaWorld, that's all they've been trying to do is like, yo, get out of here. Go, go, go.
Bad times are coming. Go, come on.
Hey, maybe that's why Ace Ventura was so hot on the trail of the dolphin in that movie.
Honestly, I think it's really funny. it was insane when I saw it the first time, but it's just really funny that the movie opens with a musical version of "So Long and Thanks for All the Fish."
I watched it with my mom, and my mom's like, "Is this a musical?" And I was like, "I don't know. I'm watching this for the first time with you. Like, I don't know."
But I like that it's like a 3-minute song of dolphins singing,
Yep.
just being like "So long and thanks for all the fish," and then they all fly off into space.
It was really funny too. Going off of the movie real quick, when I first watched just the trailer for the 2005 film, the trailer does not do the movie justice. I felt like this is gonna be an awful movie, and then at the end of it, I was like, that was actually a really funny movie.
Yeah, but I also think that like I don't think the general audience was ready for it.
No.
You've got again, the trailer was very different than what the movie's like, and you have to go into it knowing that it's British humor, that ideally having read the book,
Yep.
but just on
Knowing
its own,
what you're getting into,
yeah, on its own, it's a very bizarre, like, what is happening? And I think the things they added to it don't make it any easier. Like, it did not make it more palatable. If anything, it makes it more confusing. Like because like, all right, the entire, I guess we're kind of talking about the movie now. The entire plot with the religious order that are always waiting for like the great sneeze or whatever that they think is going to be like the rapture, basically, kind of thing. That was like a throwaway line in one of the later books that they just threw in here. But just having like all that, it's like, and I think it's hilarious that like the hero of the movie is Marvin.
Marvin was my favorite character of the movie.
It's just so funny that like he saves the day by making all the bad guys super depressed.
It's so funny. It reminds me of the line later on in the book where he's like, "Yeah, I talked to this supercomputer and it killed itself."
I love that. Yes, that they're like talking and it just committed suicide. It's like, oh my god.
So good.
I mean, see, that was them predicting AI.
Them predicting AI.
That's knowing our luck as a species. That's the AI we're going to eventually have. Is just the super depressed one that says like catty things about us.
just the whole time. Oh,
I love when he's like, "I'll do it, but I'm not going to enjoy it." And everybody's like, "Okay."
just get it done.
I also wish like it wouldn't have made sense in the movie, but I love Arthur's entire fight with the ship throughout the book of trying to make like a decent cup of tea.
Mm-hmm.
And it just always gives him the same thing. And then when they finally like they need it to escape, like, sorry, all of our processors are caught up in trying to make this tea.
Well, also, what I enjoyed was Ford's kind of like reaction to some of like Arthur's just like normal words that we would say, and he's like, interesting, or very human of you. It's just like, what does that mean?
He's like, of course you would think that, Earthling.
Yeah, like when he says it's dark, and he's like, that is human, and you're just like, what? Like, what does that imply? Like, if that were you, what were you thinking that implied?
About what?
Just like those type of comments, like say when he says it's dark and he's like, oh, that's very human of you. Can they see in better, or is that just like humans are very literal? Like we got to say what's going on all the time. Like,
I mean, I think Ford had a better handle on things considering how long he'd been on Earth.
yeah,
And I think we see also that like as soon as he's back in like space and stuff, he's kind of done with the Earth stuff. Like the first thing he does when Arthur gets mad at Zaphod for like, you know, he's like, "You're the one who stole my girl," or like all that stuff. And Ford's like, "Dude, I shouldn't have brought this fucking monkey with me. He's just embarrassing me." Until he realizes like Arthur's telling the truth. Like Arthur's really not that bad, but everybody treats him like an idiot like the entire time.
yeah.
Like he's a dude just trying to go with the flow. He's just trying to like, what is going on? And everyone's like, shut the fuck up.
Even Marvin.
Yeah, it's like anything he does, everyone just gets like annoyed. Like even Trillian doesn't really treat like they're the only humans left.
Yeah, but she's already adopted like the whole
Alien.
alien like lifestyle because she's like got a new name and all that kind of stuff. She's not Tracy no more. Or I think that's
Trisha.
her name, Trisha.
Trisha
It's like-
McMillan.
Yeah. And then they combined.
Trillion. See, and I think they harped on all of that a little too much in the movie. I don't like that she like gets captured and they have to like go and save her. Like I just feel like that was kind of needless. I guess they felt like they needed more of that and more of that romance like plot going for like a movie going audience, but I like the books version better with all that.
Again, it's
Yeah.
I think just the difference between American and British kind of thinking.
It might be that the studio was like, okay, but we have to have this. I mean, and the fact they cast Zoe Deschanel.
We have to have a romance, otherwise who's gonna watch our movie?
Also, very weird that Trillion just wasn't British in the movie.
Yeah, I loved Zoe Deschanel, don't get me wrong, but that
As
is
do
the
I.
one
She's adorable, but
that is the
she
one
didn't need that
casting
role.
choice. That is the one casting choice I would change for the movie.
And I will say, I don't know about you guys, at least from what the book says, I imagine Zaphod is like two heads, like at all times,
Mhm. Yep.
not the like weird flip thing that they did in the movie.
Yep.
Yeah, no, from the book description, it definitely sounds like those. I think there's some alien beings in like Star Wars that have two heads. That's kind of what I was picturing.
Yeah, I feel like the guy that was the announcer at the pod race.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
That's
Yeah.
exactly
That's exactly what I was imagining was that
Yep,
guy.
yep. And I think that's what it's supposed to be. I think they did their best to try to make things not as alien-ish in the movie. Again, for like general audience stuff, because the book gets a lot weirder with things.
Oh yeah. I actually didn't mind Sam Rockwell in the movie either.
No, and I agree with you. Like it's kind of hit or miss with me on him, like what he does. So, but he did a very good job there. I don't think it was in this one, but there's I think one of the later books. There's a whole chapter and like through line that they mention every now and then about. Do you know like when you lose a pen, like a pen in your pocket or something? Apparently, there's an entire planet that is nothing but pens, and when they're lucky enough, they find the portal that like spirits them away to Pen World, and it just gets mentioned every now and then. And like one guy like. They think he like lives there now and he's like a driver for a nice family of felt tips. Like it's ridiculous, but stuff like that they didn't seem to want to put in the movie.
They saved it for Halloween Town with the house that all the lost things go to.
Apparently. What is it? Upsnap or something? What?
Yeah.
I forgot the word.
Everything went black and white. Oh no.
Oh yeah, Aparta, right?
Apartheid, yeah. Nick has no idea what we're talking about.
He saw Halloween Town, didn't you? Halloween Town 2? Calabar's Revenge?
Nope.
Oh.
Nope.
Man, if only there was a YouTube video you could watch where we talked about it.
Yeah, I wonder if there was though.
Some of us,
I wonder if there is a kind of video.
Don't sweat it, man. There's a lot of important things like
talk about things.
Like Halloween Town 2 is important, but above that, fighting the monarchy.
Okay.
I understand, man. Down with the royals. I get it.
Okay.
Yeah, for everyone that doesn't know, not a big channel fan of the Kansas City Royals here. So,
Yeah,
if you're a fan of the Royals, we're sorry.
or the LA Kings hockey team.
I mean, that's acceptable.
They just don't belong here.
Okay. Another thing he ties into is like the importance of phone numbers, and it's only because he finds Arthur's like phone number. He's like, "Oh, it must be really important." Like that's how people, and I guess it is important. Like nowadays, that's how we communicate. But like,
I feel like that was going into the whole like number probability thing. That was just a coincidental way to have a string of numbers, and for them to get a little Samsung plug in the movie because the phone is like floating really big up and. It was it Samsung or Nokia? It was something like that.
I think it was Nokia.
Yeah, it's stayed up for like way too long, kind of like in Jurassic World when it's like Claire's driving and it's like,
and you're like, "Is this a car commercial? Like, what's going on?"
And you're like, "All right, somebody got those sponsorship bucks."
Oh. Yeah, no, that makes sense for the movie. It was just like an interesting thing, and again, I guess going to the probability, it's like. What would be the odds that you gave, like, say we're at the bar, right? You give your number to a girl you never hear from her again, but now you're the last person on Earth, and you meet her again, and she still has your number, but won't call you.
That would be absolutely my luck. Just throwing that out there.
So Nick, that was, you could relate to that
Well,
part, as
you
you were
know,
saying.
maybe she didn't have cell reception because now she's on a spaceship far, far away.
Maybe.
I also wasn't a fan of that in the movie. How they made it a much bigger deal that like Trillian didn't know that Earth was blown up, and that Zaphod signed off on it to like do it. Like he didn't have anything to do with it. They didn't need to tie everything into everything.
True.
Don't panic. That's all we gotta say. Have a good night.
Okay.
If you signed off of all of our videos like that, I think I would unsubscribe.
I'm not subscribed now, so I get
I was going
it.
to say,
But no, I think it was a great book. I think it definitely set a good foundation for this kind of absurdist humor. It keeps up through the entire series. I wish Douglas Adams was still around to write more now. His writing was very sharp, very witty. He definitely mastered, I think, his specific tone and type of what he did. You could always tell when it's like him writing. He definitely had a distinct style, and I think he did really well with it. And even if some of the story, like to this day, reading these books, like sometimes the story gets beyond me. There's things that I'm just like, all right, but it's good. It's probably some of the best non-serious sci-fi that's out there, even today.
Yeah, I'd
You know,
agree.
50 years on, that it's still very high up there. And I would not be surprised if we eventually see another adaptation, possibly as like a series or something this time, trying to go back to this universe and adapting it.
I
And
wouldn't
honestly,
be surprised
I think
either.
it's been long enough, I think, since the movie that they could try again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the movie was what, 2005?
Exactly. Like it's been 20 years.
We've
If we
had
can
more.
go back and redo Harry Potter already.
I mean, we have Harry Potter being rebooted. We've had more Spider-Man reboots since 2005.
Yeah, and I
They
mean,
can absolutely do it.
if we're gonna keep giving dog water franchises like Jurassic Park more chances, why not this one?
Yes, exactly. God, finally, someone said
I
it.
don't know what you guys have wrong with the Spinosaurus, but damn.
It's mainly the bug, Keegan.
Hey,
But
like
yeah,
I'm good.
I think it's great. Again, I read this back in middle school, and I still read it every couple of years just to revisit the world again. I love the characters, love what they've set up, and I think it's another one of those. I'm not gonna say it's the best sci-fi or best British sci-fi because I think that is very firmly Doctor Who in both categories. Definitely more of a cultural thing and much better in my opinion, all the way around. But Hitchhikers is still one of those, I think, great British exports that the UK has given the world, along with, you know, Harry Potter, the Beatles, Monty Python. It's all kind of wrapped up in that, in one of those really great things they've given to the world. So I love it. And I'm very grateful for Brendan for selecting a good choice.
David, have you? Well, I know you've read the others. Which of the which of the five are your favorite, or is your favorite?
I do have a soft spot for Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It sets up a lot, is a really good one, but I think my absolute favorite is the second one, which is the restaurant at the end of the universe. Only because, as long as I can remember, I've always been a sucker for time travel stuff, and the concept of this is amazing. Basically, it's a restaurant that exists in a time bubble that, as you eat, the universe ends around you. As you like go through time, you can see through their big dome and stuff, like everything being destroyed, and it takes you right to the point of everything dying in the absolute apocalypse, and then shoots you back. I don't want to give away a lot, but one thing that happens there that I think is hilarious, there's a religion that very much believes that, like, kind of like in Christianity, how Jesus is going to come back, the rapture or something. And there's a group of them that are at the restaurant this night that they're there, and there's like an MC that's hosting it, and he's like, "Oh, for you guys there, you know, you still waiting for him to come back, huh?" It's like, time's getting short. But then, like in the last 10 seconds before the end of the world, like he shows up, and the host is like, "Oh my god, well I guess it's, you know, it." And he's like, "Hey, yeah, sorry I'm late. You know, if I just have a minute, if I can," and then they get snapped back.
That is such a British joke. I love that.
Like yeah. And then they go back to like the regular time of where they started, and he's gone. But he did show up before the end.
I dig it. Brennan, have you read the other ones now?
I have not.
No.
I still plan on going back to them later this month. There was other things that were on my TBR. So,
I mean, you heard he was fighting a demon a little bit ago, so he's been busy.
Been very busy.
going through some things, guys.
He's got a lot going on.
He's very busy.
That's that Spino.
Nick,
Yeah.
did you get the copy with all the books, or is yours just the Hitchhiker's Guide?
I just got Hitchhiker's Guide. The
Alright.
one I got though, if I can find it real quick. I do like the one I got because it has like the towel texture on the front of it.
Okay. Well,
That's
he's
cool.
looking for it. David, comparing Marvin in your mind from reading it to the movie version, how close did they get to what you had pictured? Or
I
did you
think
see the movie
the-
before reading it?
No. I definitely read it long before the movie. Yeah, I think they did a good job. I think characteristic wise, and all, Alan Rickman was a great choice for the voice. I think they characterized it very well. I don't think I imagined quite that shape with like the big round head and everything. I think I
Kind of
imagined
in
it.
blocky is how I kind
Yeah.
of imagine.
I kind of thought more like a C-3PO type almost, with like a blockier head kind of thing.
Mhm.
That's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it has like
That's cool
it looks like the towel, and it looks like it's embroidered. So
But yeah, I think they did a great job of adapting. He was probably one of the most faithfully adapted characters from the book to the movie. I think, at least in this one, not quite what I envisioned, but it didn't take away from anything. And I think he was probably the standout of the movie, to be honest.
I think Alan Rickman was a definite phenomenal choice for that character.
He actually died right after recording that.
No, he
A
didn't.
lot of people don't know that this role did him in.
No. He went on to star in several movies after that. So
No,
I don't
he
believe
was,
you.
that was a clone Alan Rickman, the real one.
Clone Alan Rickman.
He went very method with this, and then just couldn't handle it.
Was it the same clone from last night? The Jim Carrey one?
That's a whole nother episode.
That'll be tomorrow's episode. No.
Yeah, that's tomorrow's episode when we're talking about more cryptids.
Jim Carrey is not a cryptid, Nick. He is a person.
No. We're gonna be talking
So
about.
hold
more
on, Nick.
cryptids
What you're
tomorrow.
telling me is that Jim Carrey is the Monkey Man of Delhi? Is that what you?
No.
That's what I just heard you say.
No.
You heard that?
I've heard that. Okay, so on that scale, Brendan, final thoughts, and if you were comparing this to the Monkey Man of Delhi, how would you compare it?
Fair question.
Yeah, that's a
Fair question. Fair question. That's wild work.
well. I'm going to give the book an 8 out of 10, and yes, I do recommend it. I really did enjoy rereading it, and I am excited to continue reading into the other ones. So
David.
Honestly, I'm gonna give it a 10 out of 10. I do my scale basically on, what could be improved, and it may not be a perfect book, but I wouldn't have written it any different. There's nothing that I would add or take away from it. I think it's brilliantly put together in what it is. I think it gets across what it wants to, and there's not really any changes that I would make to this book. So I don't really have a choice but to put it, way up there, because it is definitely, it is perfectly imperfect in what it wants to do. It gets it across. It is a cultural touchstone. It is something that will live on long after the author. So definitely 10 out of 10. Highly suggest, if you've never read it, go check it out, read it. I would just say, if you haven't seen the movie or read the book, read the book before the movie, in my opinion. Nothing wrong with the movie, but it's definitely a different version of the book. And that's something I think I mentioned this before, that there's been several adaptations of this in different formats, radio plays, TV shows, things like that. And they always do like different things. Apparently that's something that Douglas Adam actually really liked, was like tweaking it to make it a like different story in some ways. So that's why I had less of a problem with the things that they added into this one, because you guys may not know this. Douglas Adams actually did write this script before he died.
Huh.
It took several years after his death to finally get it going, really make it. But he pretty much wrote, they may have tweaked a couple of things, but he wrote the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy script that we saw in the most recent movie. So there are changes and stuff, but it was from him, which is why the things that were changed were things that were mentioned in other books and stuff like that, because he was just taking from that to add it into this. I do think he was going by some probably guidelines the studio wanted and things like the romance and whatnot, but it is still from the author. So I don't feel nearly as bad about stuff being changed and moved around if it was him messing with his own works. So yeah, I give it 10 out of 10. Highly recommend. Even if you're not a big sci-fi person, I think you'll find something to enjoy. Just remember, it's very British, and don't take any of it seriously, and don't panic.
Now, before we get to Nick, I just want to remind you what you're comparing it to right there.
Oh, you're right. Okay. Comparing it to The Monkey Man of Delhi, I'm going to say probably a W on the cryptid scale in terms of relations, genus and species, of course, going into it. Probably a little more like the one on the right, because he's a kind of a silly goose like this book, whereas the one on the left, that's going to be a little more totalitarian, a little more of that fascist regime kind of thing going on with that cryptid. So in the, guidelines of cryptids, I'm going to say it's going to land firmly between the W and the yellow block. Nick, how about you?
I don't know what any of what you just said made any sense to me. I was like, what is the W on the cryptid block? What? I don't know. I'm not familiar with that skill. Book for me is so I'm gonna go with Brendan. It's a solid 8 out of 10. It was fun to read. It was fun to watch the movie, and I enjoyed the characters very much. Again, Marvin, the depressed robot, was my favorite character, especially with Alan Rickman being the one that voiced him. Keegan, I don't know what you just shared. It was a black screen for me. I don't know what you're doing behind the scenes here. But yeah, solid 8 out of 10 for both the book and the movie.
Now seeing you like big on my screen like this, I'm just imagining us like painting you to look like Marvin, like your head.
I was about to ask him if he ever felt like Marvin was a little bit of him, or he saw himself in Marvin. That's why he liked him so much.
I mean, if that we're going off that scale, yeah, I probably have seen a little bit of myself in Marvin, because I also too have faced depression in my life.
I thought you were about to be like, I too have caused a ship to commit suicide.
I have. It was a video game ship, but yeah, as soon as I talked to it, it blew up. Okay, I didn't want to get into it, but here we are.
Sorry for bringing it up.
No, it's fine. It's fine. David brought it up. You're fine, Brendan. Okay.
And Keegan, what was your final rating for this?
Keegan, hang on. Keegan, before you give your final rating, I need you to make yourself big.
Gross. That's very inappropriate, Nick.
Says.
Anyway.
Hang on, Brendan. Is this why I'm not a friend and I'm an acquaintance? Because Keegan always kicks me off of these streams every single time. I'm not even the one causing some of the things he has to deal with. He's just like, nah. Let's say goodbye to Nick real quick.
So overall, I mean,
it's because I didn't meet you in a cemetery.
That's where real friendships are. That's where they're made. Because only in death can rebirth occur.
You know what? If that is a beautiful thing to say, David, if that is what it takes to become a friend to anybody, I am a friend to nobody, because I've never met anybody in a cemetery.
Well, we weren't going to rub it in, Nick, but now that you're the one who brought it up.
Well, I'm going to go talk to that ship now.
Yeah, so overall, I would say it's a really solid read. I think if you're a fan of, like David was saying, Monty Python or going into Spaceballs, some of that type of comedy in those movies, or even into early day Doctor Who, you'll like it. I think even for American audiences, Obviously, it's been a huge classic for a long time, so I don't think there's too much disconnect. But maybe some of the comedy people won't enjoy. But I love the absurdity and just kind of non-seriousness of it all, and it just makes you think too. Like, don't fret over the small stuff too much because it might not even matter in the long. Don't panic. Don't panic. I give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's pretty solid. It's pretty short, and most people I've heard talk about the whole series as a whole share David's sentiment as far as which one's the best. So maybe that one, once I get to it, will surpass it. But I think it's worth a read for everybody. Definitely read it if you're a fan of sci-fi, or if, like David said, an aspiring sci-fi author. Don't don't typecast yourself to just American sci-fi. Like, try to branch out, diversify a little bit. But yeah, that was Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Awesome. So before we leave, I know we do have another book coming up, and it was supposed to be Mr. Grayson's pick, but he has seemingly hitchhiked onto the wrong ship, so we may not see him for a little bit. Keegan, would you like to take this month's pick?
Yeah, so I thought we'd read the police reports of the Monkey Man. No, I'm just kidding.
I like it. I like it. And do a dramatic reenactment.
Yeah. No, actually, I thought we'd read another kind of short book. It's one I was going to read anyway in April. It's a nonfiction, I will say, but it is Walter Lord's A Night to Remember. And to put this one together, he interviewed over 60 people on the Titanic when it was happening. And since the Titanic sank in April, I thought it would only be fitting to talk about in April. So
I like it. I like it.
that's
So
one
he
I
was
was going to
talking.
read.
So he was talking to the people while it was sinking.
No, he talked to people after, and
It's like survivors.
survivors, just getting their recollections and then put the story together. A lot of people reference it as like the go-to Titanic book. I don't know if it's my go-to, but it's pretty solid and it's super short. It's less than 200
It
pages.
sounds cool to hear like some first-hand accounts of like what
Yeah.
happened. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and the movie that it inspired is still held by a lot of people as the most authentic Titanic movie, the 50s
Okay,
version.
well, Leonardo DiCaprio would beg to differ.
I mean,
He went method. He built that ship and got everybody on it.
I want to say it was A Night to Remember. It might have been the earlier 1953 Titanic. There was a survivor that so badly wanted to be a part of the movie. He was like 80 years old or something. He climbed onto the ship that was like at an angle. And they were like, hey, get that old guy off there. So they had to like go rescue him. But he was like so passionate about being a part of it. So I don't know. There's lots of cool stories we can talk about as far as the film and everything. So, and the movie and book. And
I like
Yeah.
it. No, we haven't really done a historical one like that, so that'll be awesome.
yeah, I thought it was something a little bit different. I was trying not to pick a giant monster one again, since I picked two of those in a row.
Dinosaurs are not monsters. Calm down.
Yeah,
okay.
they're animals, you sick freak.
You know what, Nick? I think I've heard enough of that.
Oh, you're not gonna get rid of me? You're just
I
gonna
thought you were going to get
torture
rid of
me?
him.
You're just gonna torture me with this picture again?
You know, I'm just gonna say, out of context, just pulling up those pictures, it looks like racial stereotypes, like really badly done caricatures.
I always just think of the Berenstain Bears. Like, I feel like the artists who made Berenstain
So you're
Bears.
saying those people are bears? Rude.
It reminds me of them. Okay.
I still
looks-
see Hitler on the one on the right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it looks like what the Germans like good guy versus not good guy for the Germans in the 40s.
One
Well,
looks like a clown and one looks like Hitler.
If you guys want to know more about the Monkey Man of Delhi, stay tuned. We actually filmed an episode, has not gone live yet, but we talk about some fun cryptids. And hopefully you guys enjoy that episode. And we will see you guys on the flip side to talk about A Night to Remember.
And until then, don't panic.
And the answer is 42.